And onwards, my friends. The battle begins. We got alteration level this turn. More magic for us. Still not what I wanted. There was a new prophet of Bogarus, and we destroyed Miklan's forces. We lost also tons of units, especially storm guards, which is kind of bad. But we lost only 3 of our mages, and we have still 8 out of 10 of our storm generals. And we killed 8 of the enemy leaders, 4 of them mages, so I guess we came up on top. We killed lots of their crossbowmen, which is good. Killed Longdeads and Fiends of Darkness, some Vinemen, some Horned Serpents. Most of this is stuff the AI will summon. Spine Devils is a bit more extreme, and we killed 336 slaves, basically enemy chaff, hundreds of warriors, and 120 Jaguar warriors, which this is the most important thing. Anyway, we confronted an army of 1000 units with a couple hundred, and we killed most of them, even though we lost a couple hundred. Still, the battle was something like 3 or 2 to 1 in our favor, and we killed tons of enemy sacreds while losing only chaff ourselves. A good battle. Would have been sweeter if Miklan was still playing, but you take what you can get. Still nice, and you will probably never see this in a normal game. I mean, 1000 units against 500 units, and then over 1000 units combined dead. That's impressive, and it's only starting now. Anyway, we have taken the shit back, and there are only a couple hundred survivors. The units who have retreated. I did use some of my money to make the defense stronger and take some luck here. I still have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of units, but nearly 1000 enemy units are dead, so I can basically now do whatever the hell I want here. Bogarus still hasn't taken that one fortress, so now I have a chance to get all those sweet other fortresses down in the south, including Miklan's capital, aptly named Miklan. All thanks to this one giant battle. The one thing I regret though is, at this point, please remember I'm doing after commentary in these episodes still. I think I completely forgot to watch this battle. Man, I hope I haven't forgotten it, but it doesn't bode well as I'm sitting here months after the fact and studying my scripting for my next invasion. Anyway, I have tons of pale ones here. A Sea King, who is also not only a troll but also a strong water mage, and I've scripted him to summon water elementals, one of the few magic weapons which can also be used underwater thanks to being water elementals being, well, water. So they don't have trouble breathing or don't work at all, like most spells do. Yeah, underwater is kind of boring and nasty at the same time. But at least through sheer numbers we should get underwater and defeat whatever else is there. Also, something I keep forgetting is there a possibility to set more than 9 scripts? Normally, if you have a script ready for a commander, you can press down Control and one of the numbers between I think 0 and 9 and save it for later use. Then if you point your mouse cursor at an enemy commander's order line, and you can press down a number and the script you've saved is suddenly there to use. I keep forgetting if there is a combination to kind of double set numbers on one, like, so I don't know, setting control 1 for 1 and then some other combination to set I don't know, a second script on the same number, and then you have to press, I don't know, something like alt plus 1 to access the second script. But I think I'm overthinking this. There's probably no such thing, because the developers of Dominions 4 probably thought that 9 with 0, 10 scripts are more than enough. Which, as I said, doesn't really work out if you're suddenly needing multiple mage scripts, then a priest script maybe, and then later in the game, when you have more than just your own mages, then you need even more scripts, and maybe you have some, I don't know, monsters with special scripts you want to use, and then suddenly 10 scripts aren't that much anymore. Well, maybe we are lucky and Dominions 5 in a couple of years will deal with this shit. Or maybe I'm just dumb and there is some obscure way of using more than 10 scripts. One of these days I should remember to ask. Anyway, enough talk. Let's move this army down into the water. Yomon is still too strong thanks to mindlessly recruiting tons and tons of underwater units. But hopefully Miklan will be a softer target. But anyway, now I'm reordering my units here. I still have tons of elephants to kill until I can change to a more magic based army build. Still, there are more and more mages here. We are basically far into the mid game now, and even in our gimmick game with research being retardedly high, we are still slowly coming to the point where our research goals are all slowly met. As I said in an earlier episode, since you can recruit more and more mages the longer the game goes and forge more and more stuff to help them research, it's basically a geometric growth set against the linear costs of research. So regardless of how high you set research costs, sooner or later you reach the threshold where you will just jump multiple research levels at once, and then, well, if you're lucky, it goes until the end of the game and you win. In most cases, as the game goes on, you will need more and more of your research mages on the battle lines, and your research will start to falter. But at that point, you should have at least multiple of your schools already completed. It's kind of neat in a way, because this means if you manage your research good, this means at the end, when you want to use every single of your mages aggressively, you most likely can do this easily, because all your research goals have been met, or there is not much left over to research, so you don't need all that research and power anymore. Well, right now we are far away from that point. Far away. And I have so many recordings to go through until we can get to the end game. At least I can tell you right away, when we finally reached the point where I started to do active live commentary instead of babbling over age-old recordings, then I can freely tell you that we've reached the end game and the ultimate victory will soon be declared. Now, however, you're like 30 episodes off, if not even longer. Anyway, this army should be ready now. Most of the chaff is dead, but I still have all my mages, and against AI this will be quite enough. After all, the AI will never change tactics to something better working. They're only good in two things, and this is mindlessly attacking everything and recruiting tons of units. As soon as you can deal with giant lumps of chaff, you basically have already won. Even if a really aggressive AI makes trouble by making so many attacks, it's working like an intelligent player raiding you. You can still easily kill them by just not panicking and using your own armies to siege down their force, and using backup troops to slowly whittle down their raiding troops. Sooner or later they will fall behind the level needed to keep attacking you, and their fortresses will fall one by one, and then after a quite intense but really tedious fight they will be dead. And you will literally never have to think about what you're doing as long as you keep using magic sensibly and keep placing your armies sensibly, because the AI, even at its best days, well, it's stupid, that's the problem. It can make trouble if you don't know much about the game yet, and can make trouble if it surprises you with how many units they have and how many armies they are willing to throw away just to hurt you. But since the AI will never ever change tracks and will always do the same thing over and over again, you can easily counter them, and as soon as you have a working counter, they're basically already dead. They're just incredibly tedious to fight, because a human player, at least, if he or she notices that they are outmatched, they tend to go AI or try to negotiate, or at least try to be evil as possible just to annoy you. In other words, something interesting will happen. Fighting the computer is good for learning the game, but it's really not that fun. I've had some solo games and I either gave up on them halfway through, or I just won against the AI by sheer bloody-mindedness. But it wasn't really fun in the end. I just got annoyed and wanted it to be over with. Yeah, it's kind of sad. I don't want to say that you can't have fun playing alone, but the best fun is always if you enter a multiplayer game and fight against real people, because real people sadly are still more interesting as dumb AI. I know. Since the 60s we've tried to make a real artificial intelligence, but since the 60s we keep failing at it. And real humans are still the better players of video games, as strange as this may sound. Wow, so I know I was ranting about this shit for multiple minutes now, and I'm still here scripting dumb shit. Well, I hope you had at least some fun listening to me, because I'm pretty sure just watching me scripting armies isn't that fun. Anyway, I'm still fighting Miglan, and even so it looks like Miglan will soon be over with, I have to think about the future. Borgarus still played by a real human, therefore an actual threat. Still there are the giant armies of Yomon waiting underwater, even though their candles are slowly running out. But they're still there, and I still have account for them. And of course, even though I had a really gigantic victory, I still lost hundreds of units, and I still have to replace them, at least for now. Maybe in the future I don't need so many stupid winged dudes anymore, but we're still not ready yet. And I mean, if you see all those colorful icons in the upper half of the view screen, well, you saw them for a while. There, blue, white, red and so on. And the numbers, that's our magic gems. And because I have not been using that many magic, we are slowly growing a stash of hundreds and hundreds of gems. The sad thing is, since I'm mostly using death magic as a strategy, this means we have only 88 of them, even though our death income is the largest income I have. But since I'm not using much of the other crap I'm collecting, I have tons and tons of air and nature, but I'm perilously close to running out of death, especially as soon as I do more than just forge stuff to help me research faster. There's an interesting balance I have to think about. Sooner or later I'll have to stop throwing death gems away, but the moment isn't yet there. Yes, and I'm building a citadel. Gav may be my ally, but I don't want to lose this stupid stretch of wood, so I'm putting down a fortress. And there's a temple. And now this Mount Fiend gets a magical staff to have more powerful death magic. Now he has level 4 instead of level 3, so he can cast most of the really dangerous combat spells without really straining. Also, of course, I can use him to summon shit. Another thing eating up all my death gems, since my own death mages are, well, kind of there, and they have the stupid flaw of being alive. Anyway, time to see the giant battle. First, to the left, my giant cloud of random troops and mammoths. At the right side, the giant, mostly unscripted cloud of enemy units, and wow, that's basically a real battle right there. Hundreds of units of the one side and nearly 1,000 units on the other side. And you can see already my mages summoning more skeletons, shooting stuff at the enemies running forward, some lone eagle warriors. And then my first troops jump forward and getting slaughtered since there are only a couple dozen. I see there is a gelatinous cube, normally a dangerous enemy capable of trampling and swallowing units, but they're also kind of boxed in by all those other units. The Jaguar Toad, they're also dangerous, but they're also starving or nearly dead. Thanks to the AI not understanding that's not a good idea to make a giant army and then just letting it wandering around until the living units are slowly dying. Demons like the Serpent Fiends are still in good health, but the army already loses ground against mine thanks to me still summoning more skeletons, while my suicidal flyers actually did more damage to the enemy simply by drawing enemy magic spells to them. I saw some, yes, there again, saw some spells flying into their direction, but since there are not that many of them, even though a lot of them got killed, many of those spells also landed right between the enemy army. Here the lack of scripting really starts to hurt the enemy army, simply because all those slaves in between keeps them from being as mobile as they should be. On the other hand, my own scripting already loses ground since there are just so many units. I can't keep my tramplers and my normal units from another. There is simply not enough space on the battlefield. Anyway, the main enemy units, the Sacred Jaguar Fighter Warriors, seem to be in trouble even reaching my lines, simply because there are too many slaves mixed in with them. Jaguar Warriors, as you know, are sacred, so as they can be powered up with a bless, and if they are killed, they simply transform into another shape, their Jaguar, and can keep on fighting for a while until their monster shape is also destroyed. So normally they are incredibly good units, but in this case the lack of proper scripting just throws them away. So you can see they're not getting trampled, instead they got surrounded by my flying storm guards, and now they're getting stabbed. The battle is running for a couple minutes already, and my tramplers have trouble reaching the main lines, but my own units, well, my own non-trampler units are doing their best. They have a good position and the main army hasn't reached them yet, because all those Jaguar warriors and enemy summons, like those Jaguar toads, are all trapped behind the slaves, and since they can't fly, they will stand there. And again, a giant cloud of arrows from my flying shooters comes down and kills more my own units. Friendly fire as its finest. I have to just live with this kind of thing, especially if there's just not enough space to properly space out your squads. I mean, you look at this, some of my tramplers can't even go forward because they are trapped behind the skeletons I'm summoning. But at least a large lump of them finally reaches the enemy lines and starts trampling through everything, taking down Jaguar warriors and slaves. And as soon as they reach the Jaguar toads, they probably start dying themselves, but at that point I'm already close to triggering a rout, thanks to killing so many of them. My mages have run through their scripts and start just busting out whatever the dumb little AI heads are telling them. Now my other tramplers are slowly reaching around under my decimated storm guards, and it's just incredible. There are so many mammoths trampling, and the enemy mages, even so, yeah, that's the problem mostly. Miklan would have needed a lot more mages simply because my mammoths are really vulnerable against magic. But with just like 6 mages, they can't do much to slow down the horde coming down to them. And now almost all slaves are dead already. You've seen multiple rare Jaguars already, simply because there's so much trampling going on. And now my mammoths have trampled their way through the entire army and have reached the crossbowmen, the most important units, because they can actually hurt us just by firing. And the more of them die, the best. And now my own archers shoot. They are a bit more ineffective, but there are a lot of them, and since they can fly, they can just make a little hop to get in range and then shoot. They are more vulnerable against enemy fire because of this, and if they are out of range, they tend to take a couple additional turns to rectify that, but since they are really cheap, I can just throw them out in incredible amounts. And as you see, multiple Jaguar warriors had to transform already just from being hit with my short bows, and there they go, now they run away. Right now my skeletons have reached them, and it looks like some of the Jaguar warriors are now trapped with my tramplers on both sides and my normal units and skeletons on one side. But since the battlefield is so gigantic, there is still enough place for them to run away. And of course, finally, there is enough damage being done that my own tramplers are running away. but by now the battlefield has changed so much that I don't really care for it. And wow, that rare Jaguar collected a lot of afflictions. Yeah, regeneration alone doesn't help much, since an affliction has to be healed separately by another power. Regeneration only gives you back hit points. And if you lost your head, that doesn't help much, just for as an example. And there was another one squeezed, another one got hit by a lucky arrow. But the rare Jaguar killed one of my guys. Still, it looks like those two won't get away. One dead, one trampled, and that's it. Over 300 units dead on our side. Over 800 units dead on Miklan's side. And oh wow, there's still fighting going on. Apparently there are some leftover units here and there. And of course there are my fleeing elephants wreaking havoc. Luckily, most of my units are either dead, have run away, or on the other side of the battlefield. But still, you can see how careful you have to be, and even then sometimes there will be trampling. Anyway, that's the count. Giant battle, giant victory. And now those 4 provinces left are basically at my mercy. And with this long turn is finally over. See you next time. Liploini signs out.